From the Huntington Bank Studio, this is Colts 360.
Michael Pittman, dog. W Crew.
You know what we do? On the road, Road Warriors.
Big dog.
The Colts walking into Week 7 even on the season after getting a win at Nashville, getting ready to kick things off this weekend against the Miami Dolphins. But before we kick off at Lucas Oil Stadium, we are kicking off here on Colts 360 with head coach Shane Steichen. You got to 3-3 with the win over the Titans. What is bigger coming out of that victory, being at 500 or getting the first division win of the season?
I think both. You can put them right there at the top. Obviously, the division wins are huge, but getting the road win, on the road in that environment is huge, and then getting to 500 going into Week 7 is big.
This is a relatively interesting stretch in which you have 4 of 5 games away from Lucas Oil Stadium. This the lone opportunity to play in front of the home crowd going against Miami. How much do you relish in this opportunity? The only one within a month that you're playing at home.
It's great. It's great. When we play at home in front of our fans, I mean, they always bring the noise, they bring the energy, so it's great to be back home against the Miami Dolphins this week for sure.
I know that Anthony has been working his way back, and it really can be a day-to-day type of evaluation with the type of injury he's dealing with. What is most challenging, though, for a young quarterback to work through something like this that just has, so much variability to what you're dealing with?
Yeah, I think it's just the routine of getting the treatment day in and day out and making sure he feels good to go out there and perform at a high level. But he's in a good space right now, and he should have a good week this week.
Couple of other things. How do you evaluate both DeForest Buckner and Jonathan Taylor going into this Sunday?
We'll see. We're having those discussions. We'll see how the week goes with JT, and obviously, getting, Buck back off IR and open that window. We're having those discussions this week. Special
teams rarely gets the attention that they deserve. Certainly, Michael Pittman Jr. had that go-ahead touchdown. But really the most critical play, clutch play of the day, may have gone to Rigo Sanchez last Sunday. How much credit should he get with just how good he's been really all season long for you?
A ton. I mean, he's phenomenal. The ball placement on those punts, where he puts them, and that one at the end in that 4-minute situation to put that thing down on the 3-yard line. I showed it in the team meeting. The slow motion of how the ball landed and just kind of settled right there was impressive as it gets.
It was so dramatic to watch it. I happen to be down there on that end of the field, so it's probably fun watching it in slow motion, and everybody gets to appreciate it a little bit more because in that situation, everyone's just focused on their role. So a good opportunity to spotlight Rigo, right?
Oh, there's no question. I mean, you spotlight a lot of the guys in team meetings for what they do good and the plays they're making, and the quarterback making a great throw, a receiver making a great catch, but the punter, and what he does all week in practice, he does it all week, and then it comes to fruition in games, and to have that punt at the end of the game was just tremendous.
Last Sunday, scored on the opening possession for the 3rd straight week. That was with Josh Downs. When you get your offense rolling like that, what type of position does it put you guys in?
It's huge. Anytime you can start with the football and go down and score and get a lead and go up 7-0 is big, and you get a little momentum too, but you got to continue that momentum. That's the challenge every week, is like we got to get the lead and then continue to maintain the lead and keep staying aggressive and maintaining drive so we can get more of a lead.
How do you describe the toughness of Michael Pittman Jr.?
Gosh, I'll tell you what, I don't think I've seen anything like it. I really haven't. What he did to go out there for his teammates and make a play in the critical situation when we got to have it. He makes the big-time touchdown catch, the go-ahead touchdown catch, one-on-one, go up and get it. And then he also had a crossing route in a 4-minute situation where we still had to play football and not run. We weren't in the run mode yet, and Flacco booting out and hitting him on the move and making that catch. I mean, he's just a tremendous competitor.
When one of the leaders of your team embodies that type of toughness, how much does everyone else take note?
I think you got to feed off that stuff. I mean, you set the example, a veteran guy now, a captain of our football team that wants to be out there for his teammates week in and week out and show that toughness that he has. And I think that bleeds down to the locker room for sure.
I think someone who has fed off that well is Josh Downs. 3 straight games with 7 or more catches. How much has he established himself as well in the return game also?
Yeah, he was tremendous yesterday on offense, but also the return game. I want to say he averaged like 23 yards a return the other day. He's got great vision, tremendous vision, obviously in the return game, but even as a receiver, the routes that he runs, man-to-man, we have a 4th and 3, got to have it. It's a man-to-man winning route, and he runs a return route and comes out of that thing, gets a huge first down right there for us. But he just continues to show up and make the big-time plays for us.
I talked after the game with Zaire Franklin, who was really quick to give credit to Jalen Jones. How are you seeing him just level up week in and week out with the assignments that he's been given?
Yeah, he's been phenomenal. You know what? I think it's the mentality that he has, that he's not going to be denied anytime he steps on the football field. And he's very aggressive corner, and he has that mindset, that he's going to win every time he goes out there, whether it's man or zone. He's got great, zone eyes too when we are playing zone coverage, vision on the quarterback, vision on the wideouts. But when it comes to those man-to-man opportunities, we had a 3rd and 10 yesterday. We got a great pass rush by our defense, but then to him to step up, and get that pass breakup there was huge.
Hey, looking forward to another great offensive performance this Sunday, in which we will also be celebrating Dallas Clark going to the Ring of Honor. In fact, the last 3 touchdowns that Dallas Clark scored of his career came on Joe Flacco passes. What does that say about the longevity of Joe Flacco?
Gosh, throwing out these stats, that's incredible. Joe, the longevity he's been doing it with has been tremendous. Obviously 39 years old, steps out there, just a smooth guy back there, smooth in the huddle, and goes out and operates. But that's a hell of a stat.
Hey, maybe you let 44 get out there during warm-up so we can catch one more from Flacco.
Oh, shoot, maybe they'll throw some before the game to each other or something.
Coach, always appreciate the time. Looking forward to Sunday afternoon.
All right, thank you.
Last year I had to do it the last few games, and this year I kind of was like, I don't know if I want to do it. But then I remember maybe it was the first game I came back, I was like, nah, I'm going to start taking this serious again. So I told the special teams coordinator I want some more reps, and he's put me back there the past few games, trusted me, and I mean, yeah, it was some opportunities last game and came to fruition. So
just call him Josh First Downs. The second-year receiver and returner stops by the studio as he's emerging as one of the most consistent conversion pass catchers in the NFL. That's next on Colts 360.
This season, Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield is teaming up with the Colts to shine a light on outstanding small businesses. Indy's our hometown, and boosting local business is just one way we want to thank this great city. Go to Colts.com/Anthem Spotlight to nominate your favorite small business today. Anthem and the Colts, helping Hoosier small businesses score. Forte Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, proud orthopedic partner of the Indianapolis Colts. At Forte, fellowship-trained physicians and staff provide comprehensive, specialized sports medicine and orthopedic care to active patients of all ages. To learn more, visit forteortho.com.
Flacco drops the throw again, fires down the near sideline. Josh Downs in the end zone. Yes, sir! Touchdown! INDY! Downs from 22 yards away. Flacco put it right on the money.
They are really in sync with one another.
When your name is Josh Downs, it is only fitting that you dominate first downs, touchdowns, anything coming your way. Wide receiver Josh Downs joining us in studio. Your consistency the last 3 games has been incredible. At least 6 catches and 65 receiving yards in 3 consecutive games, longest active streak in the NFL. What has helped you establish that level of, 1, productivity, 2, consistency?
Yeah, first, got to give thanks to God, I went through an injury earlier and missed the first 2 games, but he healed me, and I've been blessed to come back and help this team. And, of course, can't do it without the quarterback, making my job easy, targeting me, trusting me, putting that trust in me. And then, of course, Shane putting me in position to make plays. So all those combined, and then the offense just working well. That put me in a good position.
When you had to miss those first 2 games with the ankle injury, I want to go back too, because it was a significant amount of training camp as well too that you missed. How did you draw motivation from that time?
Yeah, I mean, that was more so like a time to just reflect on my whole life and just kind of just take a deep breath in and just like look at what I can improve on off the field and even on the field as well. But yeah, 6 weeks off. I knew I wasn't going to be able to play the first 2 games. Right when I got hurt, I remember the doctor told me, you're going to miss the first 2 games most likely. And in my head, I'm like, I'm going to prove him wrong. But then when the time came, I was like, okay, yeah, like I'm not ready. So then I missed those 2 games. It was very humbling to me, but it also made me very grateful for the position I'm in. So when I came back, I just make sure every day I go out there and work hard and know that it's a blessing to be in this position.
When you had that time to reflect, what were the things that you identified that you wanted to improve upon?
Yeah, just like I said, like just being more grateful each and every day, and then just continuously being humble, because I always see a quote that said, "Be humble because the tables can turn quickly." So I know that any scenario, anybody can be in a position that's great, and then something can happen, and boom, you're right back to square one. So I feel like those 2 things.
You were quick to give credit to your quarterbacks. How has time with both Anthony and Joe really benefited you as a young receiver?
Yeah, I mean, 2 different type of quarterbacks.
Right.
One a dual threat, one more just of a pocket passer. But having both of them different times is just growing me as a player as well. Me and Anthony came in together, so we got that bond. He was my roommate during camp first year, and just growing every day, talking to him every day, joking around with him all the time. During the game when I'm making plays past few weeks, he'd be like, I need it all game, Jit. I need you to keep going. So I'm happy to get him back soon. And then Joe's a vet. He's been doing it a long time, so I always say we got a great quarterback coming in for another great quarterback. So 2 guys that are very elite.
So having that perspective that you have battling your own injury early part in the season, how do you try to help Anthony maybe as he's trying to work his way back as well?
Yeah, I feel like the main thing when you get injured is like sometimes you feel like you're kind of like maybe forgotten. So I'll just check in on him all the time. Like, how you doing? How you feeling? Like, we waiting on you to come back. Just making sure to know he's loved. So I feel like when you're injured, it's just like, dang, you're rehabbing, but you're not in the game plan, you're not practicing, so it's just like you're on your own journey. So just make sure he stays in it.
We talked about establishing your productivity in the offense. You've also done that in the return game as well. Single game career high on punt returns. 4 returns for a collective 67 yards, single game career high there against Tennessee. How much were you even tasked to return in your college career at UNC?
Yeah, I didn't even do it in high school, but in college they basically they told me I was gonna be doing it my sophomore and my junior year, and I really didn't want to do it, but my receiver coach kept telling me nah, you're gonna do it. You can be a good punt returner. You're gonna do it. And I never really liked it until later in my junior year, and then last year I had to do it the last few games, and this year I kind of was I don't know if I want to do it. But then I remember maybe it was the first game I came back. I was like, nah, I'm gonna start taking this serious again. So I told the special teams coordinator I want some more reps, and he's put me back there the past few games, trusted me, and I mean, yeah, it was some opportunities last game and came to fruition. So
what do you enjoy about having those opportunities, especially when you find success with them?
Yeah, just extra touches. I mean, just the fact to be able to touch the ball another time in the game, just be involved. Some games on offense you might not get 6-7 targets. You might only get 3-4. So it's on special teams, if your defense is playing well, you can have maybe 3 or 4 punt returns. So that's 8 touches in the game. And then it's okay, even if I didn't make a huge impact on offense, I can make one on special teams. So for me, that's it. And
they feed off of one another, right? Don't you feel like when you catch that momentum one way or another, it just feeds over into the other areas of your game?
Oh, 100%. Sam Ellinger was telling me, man, keep doing that. Because, when you get us that 15, 16 yards to start our drive, it's you boost us from being at the 20 to being at the 35 or being at the 30 to the 45. So he's keep doing that.
Keep doing that indeed, Josh. Appreciate the time. Hey, it's Miami Dolphins coming into Lucas Oil Stadium this weekend, which is also the Ring of Honor celebration for Dallas Clark. And we had one of Dallas's teammates, also Josh's position group coach, Reggie Wayne, reflect on Dallas Clark's time in Indianapolis and now rightfully finding his place in the Colts Ring of Honor.
Whenever you have a skilled position on offense that consistently play with no gloves.
Dallas with a great catch!
Unbelievable. That guy's dangerous.
Throws one to Dallas, he makes the catch! Dallas Clark's open, touchdown Dallas Clark!
Clark, touchdown! What a catch!
And that's Dallas.
All right, good job. Oh, nice job, man. Nice way to play.
First thing I think of when I hear Dallas Clark is the ultimate teammate. Never a bad day for Dallas.
Dallas touchdown!
If Peyton Manning finds a one-on-one matchup with Dallas Clark, he's going to it because Dallas Clark is going to win it.
His hands were golden.
Oh, what a catch!
Oh, he's a hybrid tight end. He's more of a wide receiver than he is a tight end.
Clark's got it at the 35, breaks a tackle 30.
Dallas can run. He was fast.
And Dallas Clark has speed to finish.
He might have wore big shoulder pads, but he know how to run with those shoulder pads on.
It is so tough to match up against him.
He caught a lot of tough catches. He came through in the clutch for us numerous times.
What a big play for the tight end out of Iowa. That's a monster play.
Dallas is my favorite teammate. When your phone rings and it says, "Old Dal," it brings a smile on your face. He was the glue that kept us all together whenever, we was in difficult times. He's going up in that ring of honor right where he rightfully deserved.
Dallas Clark, what a game.
Offensively, I want to see him run the ball a little bit better. I know Jonathan Taylor's been out the last 2 games, but you're under 100 yards rushing in each of the last 2 games. So let's get the running game back going again. And then I think within the passing game, Lara, just continue to feed Josh Downs. Since coming back in week 3, he's got 27 catches in that time span.
Next on the show, from the booth to the studio, voice of the Colts, Matt Taylor, returns as the Colts look to get a winning record for the first time this season. How the Horseshoes can get out of neutral, coming up on Colts 360.
Enter now for your kid's chance to be Junior Blue at the next Colts home game. Visit Colts.com/Meyer Junior Blue to enter today. Snickers Rookie Mistake Program is back again this season. Learn how you could win Super Bowl 59 tickets at Snickers.com/NFL. It's time now for the Forum Credit Union Question of the Week. When was the last time the Colts won 3 home games in a row? Weeks 12, 15, and 17 of the 2023 season. Visit the Forum Credit Union Fan Forum section of Colts.com to interact with other fans online. Forum Credit Union, helping members live their financial dreams.
Flacco out of the gun, Sermon in the back left. 2 receivers go to the left side, 1 goes right, that's Pierce. Man in motion is Josh Downs down to the right side. Flacco, 5-step drop, throws off his back foot into the end zone, going up and making a bid on the ball is Michael Pittman Jr.
I think he got it.
Touchdown! I-N-D-Y! Pittman puts the Colts on top. A 10-yard pass. Flacco to Pittman, and the Colts lead 19-17 in Nashville.
From the booth to the studio, I am joined weekly by voice of the Colts, Matt Taylor, for our View from the Booth segment. Matt, pretty interesting. The Colts sit at 3-3 going into this week back home against Miami.
Yes.
They have scored 139 points. They have also given up 139 points. How do we get this team out of neutral and see the Colts get to a winning record for the first time in 2024?
It's crazy. You're exactly right. 3-3, and your margin of totality, if you will, 0, right in the middle of the season. So this is a good, I think, exercise to break out of neutral. Let's get this car stuck out of the mud and see what the Colts can do offensively and defensively. Offensively, I want to see him run the ball a little bit better. I know Jonathan Taylor's been out the last 2 games, but you're under 100 yards rushing in each of the last 2 games. So let's get the running game back going again. And then I think within the passing game, Lara, just continue to feed Josh Downs. Since coming back in week 3, he's got 27 catches in that time span. So in his last couple of games, he's the Colts' leading receiver in terms of volume. Most of his catches are going for first downs or touchdowns like we saw last week in Tennessee. And then the third thing I want to see to hopefully kickstart this offense is get more out of A.D. Mitchell, right? He's only got 8 catches on the season. He's a youngster. He's a rookie. Still kind of figuring out a little bit. I think last week the quote that he used was, I'm kind of overcomplicating the game a little bit, putting too much hot sauce on the food when maybe a little salt will do. So get some more out of the youngster because he's getting open and he's got speed to burn. They just need to get him the football.
Now, on the defensive side of the ball, obviously the Dolphins have weapons, so you're going to have a couple of tough assignments. But what can this defense do to maybe kick it into overdrive a little bit?
Yeah, the first thing, you talked about the weapons, right? Tyreek Hill and Jalen Jalen Waddle, and those guys, no question about it, they are elite. But I think it starts up front, winning in the trenches. The Colts giving up 155 rushing yards per game. That's down near the bottom of the NFL. And that's what the Titans tried to do to the Colts last week, Larry. You were there. I mean, they tried to just pound the Colts like it was a high school game with high volume, big numbers in the rushing attack. And the Colts still gave up some big plays. The Tony Pollard touchdown on a 3rd and 19, a 23-yard run to the end zone. That was a disappointing, sequence for the Colts. And it starts up
But they recovered
front.
well in the fourth quarter, didn't allow a point.
And that's the thing. And you're exactly right. That's a good transition for me. Indianapolis did a really good job last week in the fourth quarter, giving up 0 points for the first time on the season. But on the whole, through 6 games, the Colts are still, I think they're 30th in the NFL in fourth quarter scoring allowed. So all of these games have come down to the wire. The Colts have played 6 games. They've all been decided by 1 score. If you're better defensively in the fourth quarter, just rising up, making more plays, get more third down stops, that'll bode well for this team to play better complementary football and thus hopefully get stuck out of neutral.
Hey, critical situation for the Colts because you have a stretch of games. This is your lone game at home over the course of a month. So a couple of other things coming into play.
No, you're exactly right. Maybe some intangibles to get stuck out of neutral. And I know this is way easier said than done, but hopefully get healthy.
Yeah.
Right, you've had a ton of key injuries on both sides of the ball. Hopefully Anthony Richardson can come back this week. We'll see about Jonathan Taylor. On the defensive side of the ball, DeForest Buckner is a candidate to possibly come off of IR soon. We'll see on that. But you want to be more disruptive on the defensive side of the ball when Buck comes back. The Colts, they have 0 sacks and only 2 tackles for loss in the last 2 games combined. So you want to see the defensive line be more impactful. Hopefully that'll help. But you're right. Take advantage of the schedule coming up on Sunday. Miami's a very beatable team, but then coming up here, maybe you got the toughest part of your schedule looming. You got to have to go to Houston, then Minnesota to close out the month of October. Then Buffalo comes in. You got to play the Jets, then the Lions. So you're kind of feasting on these pedestrian offenses. That will not be the case much longer.
Mayte, appreciate your joining us in studio. Thanks for spending part of your weekend here with us and getting ready for game day on Colts 360. Look forward to joining you here back in studio next week. Go Colts. See you at Lucas Oil Stadium for that 1 o'clock kickoff.